Today is direct variation and proportion. A direct variation is expressed as y equals kx. Here's your first objective. Determine whether each equation describes a direct variation. Yes or no? A direct variation. Is this a direct variation? Yes, because it falls into line with y equals kx, the general form. Is this a direct variation? Yes, it does fall into line with y equals kx. What about this one, y equals 5 over x? No, it does not. And why is that? That's right, it should be k times x and not k divided by x. So that's why this one is no. If you get an x on the bottom, that's a different type of variation. What about this one, y equals negative 2x plus 1? Is that a direct variation? Yes. I'm hearing yes and no. The answer should be no. Can somebody tell me why? That's right. This plus 1 on the end is what makes it not be a direct variation. So your next objective is y varies directly as x. Find the constant of variation, which is k, and write an equation of direct variation that relates the two variables. So your answer will look something like y equals kx. Y equals 6 when x equals 2. You have to find the direct variation equation. And in order to do that, you have to solve for k first. So let's start with y equals kx and plug in what we know. We know that y is 6 and x is 2. From there, solve for k. Divide both sides by 2. So k equals 3. That's your constant of variation. But then you have to write that direct variation equation. So if k equals 3, it is y equals 3x. Y equals 2 when x equals 5. Find the direct variation equation that relates these two variables. So start with y equals kx. And then plug in what you know. Y is 2 and x is 5. Divide both sides by 5 to get 2/5. And then write your equation. Y equals 2/5 x. You're going to start with y equals kx and plug in what you know. 9 is y and x is 12. Divide both sides by 12. So 9 over 12 equals k. But we don't use 9 over 12, it's not reduced. That should be 3 over 4. So your equation should be y equals 3/4 x. Your next objective is to solve each proportion for the variable. Cross multiply to get 9x and then 8. Divide 8 by 9 and an answer of 8/9 would be acceptable. The directions are still the same. You cross multiply there to get 15 times x plus 1. And then 6 times 8 is 14. Or not 14, but 48. Distribute the 15 to get 15x plus 15 equals 48. Keep the x term on the left. Move the constant to the right. 15x equals 33. And divide 33 by 15. You can reduce that. You can get 11 over 5. That's the same thing as 2/5. Cross multiply here to get 2 times the quantity 3x minus 4, and then here to get 5 times the quantity x minus 1. Distribute to get 6x minus 8 equals 5x minus 5. Keep the 6x where it's at and move the 5x to the left. Keep the minus 5 and move the minus 8 to the right. And come up with an answer of positive 3. If y equals 6 when x equals 5, find x when y equals 10. You could have to solve for x or y in these problems, but it's just simple equations. You start with the general form, y equals kx, and plug in what you know from what is given in the first part of the problem. You know that y is 6, and you know that x is 5. From that, you can do what we did before, which is to find the value of k, which in this case is 6 over 5. And once you do that, you have your general equation. Y equals 6/5 x. Now with that, you can use that equation to solve what it's asking you for. And that is find x when y is 10. So you would plug 10 in to this problem. And we will do so here. Find x, and we know that y is 10. We know that k is 6/5. We're solving for x. So solve the equation. 10 divided by 6/5 is x. That's the same as 10 over 1 times 5 over 6, which is 50 over 6. And you can express that as 25 over 3, or 3 goes into 25 8 times with 1 left over. 8 1/3.